Hey, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you stopping by. I decided I was going to finally get to doing a chicken run, chicken coop, chicken housing kind of review and a summary and kind of show you what I've done here. And I'm going to spin this camera around and then go around the coop and kind of share what I've done to get it set up, as well as predator proof it as much as you can do, I think. And doing this pretty much on a budget. All right, let me turn this camera around. All right, so this is the chicken run, and I'm going to go through and show some different aspects of it. And to start with, this whole run here was purchased off of Amazon. It was fairly inexpensive. This was bought a couple years ago. I think I paid somewhere around $160, I believe. And it is not super strong. The tubing on it is fairly small, as you can see. You can see what it is compared to my hand. Everything either snapped together or screwed together. It did come with that tarp, and it did not come with hardware cloth, which is what's on here now. Hardware cloth, if you're not familiar, much stronger than chicken wire. It did come with chicken wire, and I knew that chicken wire was not very secure, so I went with the hardware cloth, which I also ordered off of Amazon. Now, you can use chicken wire if you choose, but you know, certain animals and stuff, they can get through it much easier than hardware cloth. So the whole thing is covered with hardware cloth. The bottom is not. So the floor is dirt. Now, once we built this thing, my next question was, okay, how would predators get in here? And so then I started looking around the bottom, because it basically just these tubes, you know, the frame sits on the ground, and then the hardware cloth would go to the ground. Well, something just could go up right underneath it. And there were gaps, as you can see right here. There's a little bit of a gap there, and I was worried about snakes. Mice I'm not overly concerned about. They'll tear up some mice. But, you know, I'm trying to keep stuff out of there. And some weasels could get in there and are pretty small. So you can see I put wood along the bottom of the frame, which provided a pretty good barrier from anything getting in there. In addition to that, I put the whole frame on top of two 2x4s. Yes, I realize two 2x4s equal a 4x4. Very close to it. But I had the 2x4s, so I used what I had. I screwed the two 2x4s, and you can see I even used some scrap miscellaneous pieces. Again, I'm doing this on a budget. So I screwed those together and then screwed the frame onto the 2x4s. So these feet, if you will, I would screw using exterior screws onto the 2x4s. So the whole thing is like that. You can see on the inside, that's how it is. So that adds some weight to the whole frame, because, you know, a good gust of wind, if it was not secured, it absolutely could have blown away. And then you can see even the door, I filled in wherever I could any entranceway that something could get in. And like I said, I absolutely realize that, you know, mice could get in. But again, I'm not too worried about those. The top of this door, there was a decent sized gap, and I just went ahead and bolted this piece of wood up here. I also put this motion sensor light, the solar powered, has worked fantastic. So we'll go around the other side. You can see all the way around I did this. And I have the hardware cloth. And then I did it all along the back as well. And you can see the ladies have done some digging. Now, in addition to the hardware cloth on the sides, on the roof, and we also have it overlapped, as you can see here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's overlapped here, and then we used cable ties to secure a lot of it. I put the hardware cloth underneath the two 2x4s that I put on the bottom that basically created a 4x4, and I have it coming out 30 inches. So it's coming out to about here. That is going to, and I have that all the way around. That is protecting the chickens from something coming up to here, for example, and trying to dig down and go underneath, which rats, different animals will do that. So they would have to come out all the way to here and dig and tunnel their way in. So far, I haven't seen anything like that. Okay, so we have this frame. It's about 160 bucks. Hardware cloth, that was 120, I think, 130. We did paint the hardware cloth black, because when you do that, it just doesn't show up so much. It's easier to see what's inside. I did all of the perimeter, putting the wood in to increase security. And then some of this is just decoration, obviously. I've got some of these signs up and make it look nice. We put this border around, put some wood chips down, and then these 4x4s. I had these 4x4s left over from another project. I really like repurposing things. And then these 2x4s on the front here, I have it screwed in to the bottom down there. And then I have a cable tie attached to here, and I drilled 2 holes to feed the cable tie through, so it holds this 2x4. Well, I just went and got an inexpensive solar light, fit right on there, just perfect. And I did that there as well as over here. And they don't provide a ton of light, but it's a little bit. And then I have an extension cord that feeds in, and I use that for a heater that is connected to a water container for the winter time, to make sure that they have water that's not frozen. And it's worked fantastic. So I'm not going to go in the run right now, but because I don't need to, you can see what's going on out here. But that coop was very high dollar. It's very expensive coop. I think it was in the neighborhood of 800 bucks, which is probably crazy, and it was somewhat of an impulse buy, but I will tell you, it's fantastic. It has been great. It's just like a kid's play set. The way it snaps together is totally plastic. It's got trays in it that you can pull out. You can spray it out with a hose. It's not going to rot. It's worked really, really well. So I'm not suggesting that you have to spend that kind of money at all. In fact, we're looking at getting another run that's bigger. This one here is around 10 by 13, 10 by 14. And we're looking at getting a bigger one, and we'll probably keep this one and then add another one that I'm definitely not going to pay $800 on. So in the back here, I built a little wall. Again, I used scrap wood that I had, and I connected it to the hardware cloth in the back. And I basically sandwiched the hardware cloth in between multiple pieces of wood, and also screwed it at the bottom there, and it's held really, really well. And so we have our feeding bucket and our water all connected to it. And yeah, it's worked real well. I bought some of these, I don't know, they come on at night. I don't know if this one will come on when I cover it. That one may be dead. I don't know if that one's been coming on or not. But I've got several of these, and they've worked pretty well, but I can't say that they deter a whole lot as far as pests and predators. Got a little picnic table in there. I make those, and yeah, the ladies have been pretty happy. So, trying to think what else I need to tell you about this place. I mean, it's worked really well. I'll tell you what else. So in Maine, we deal with snow, and I saw lots of posts where they were saying, do not, if you live someplace where there's snow, do not buy these because the snow will collapse them. Well, that's true if you don't clean the snow off when you are having a storm. So we've had no problems here. I was going to put some support in the middle, like a 2x4 or 4x4 in the middle, and then run a 2x4 across to provide some support to the roof. But I've not had to do that because when we get snow, and we've had some big snows, especially this last year, we just came out and brushed it off. So, you know, there'd be 3 or 4 inches of snow on there. We'd brush it off, and we're good. And by the way, we cover this whole thing in the wintertime with plastic because we're trying to keep the warmth in there and stop the breeze from getting the chickens cold. In the wintertime, moisture and cold wind or breeze is what will kill a chicken, and we had no problems. So we also covered the main coop there with some like moving blankets and shut the vents off on the ends just to provide some additional protection. So yeah, these will work any place that has snow as long as you don't allow the snow to accumulate. If you allow it to accumulate, yes, it will crash down. And but it never even looked like it was going to do anything. So in addition to these lights and this motion light up here, I have an Arlo camera on the inside, and that is basically just to make sure that we can check on the chickens in the middle of the night if we hear something. Some of our other Arlo cameras, they give updates if they see a person, a vehicle, an animal, or just motion. So that's a roosting bar. I built this little ladder here, again out of scrap wood. Very, very budget friendly when you can repurpose, you know, different materials lying around. So this border I was talking about, I think I got distracted. This border that I was talking about, we put around it. We filled in with some cedar wood chips, but we plant some plants. We got zucchini here, some herbs that are friendly to chickens. I've seen a lot of people, they'll put down cinder blocks with the holes facing up, and they'll fill them with dirt, and then they'll plant herbs and plants that chickens like to eat. And if the plants go into the hardware cloth or chicken wire, it'll give the chickens a little treat. Even grass would work. So I do like having half of it covered. Just helps give a dry spot over here. When it rains real hard, the chickens will all get up under the coop. Oh, and by the way, this coop, I built this little stand out of repurposed scrap wood that I had, and that just elevated it, which opened up more space that the chickens could walk and live. And it was important to us, you know, these chickens are going to give us eggs on a daily basis, and it was important to try to give them a decent existence there. So, what do you think about that? You like your little house? All right, don't talk to me. Anyways, that's it. That's kind of our chicken run and chicken coop. If you got any questions, any thoughts, suggestions, put them in the comments below. So, that's it. I appreciate it. You guys stay safe, take care. We'll see you next time.
So I ran from the cities and the noise and lies, found a piece of ground under open skies, hands in the dirt, sweat on my shirt, learning what living's really worth. While crooked men shake hands in rooms, selling souls to corporate suits. Society's sick, but I found the cure. A back road life, honest and pure. They can keep their throne and their golden news. This life out here's my modern exodus. I traded screens for a sunrise, callous palms, blisters, pride, planted seeds where hope was.